Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Grubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists.
It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Welcome back to the Canine Detection Collaborative. We are here. I am Crystal Wing, and this is Stacy Barnett joining me.
Hey, how's it going?
And Robin Grubel.
Hello.
And I'm still here in Iowa, and I'm actually in her kitchen now instead of in the laundry room sitting on dirty laundry. So that's exciting. She may never get rid of me.
Well, and as you said my name, one of the donkeys started hee-hawing in the background, and I'm like, some subliminal messages going on there, I think.
Oh my gosh. So it's like, was it 2 days ago that we had ice cream for brunch and you gave the dogs little squeaky toys?
Yes.
And the dog squeaky toys made a very specific sound.
They sound. I gave them
pigs.
the little vinyl piggies.
Oink, oink, oink. They make the best oinking sounds I've ever heard. And so right as I bite into my first thing of ice cream, I hear.
Yep, that is correct.
The grunting pig.
Oh. So the grunting pigs actually come into play with today's topic somehow.
Well, because I gave them to the puppies.
Yes, it has to do with puppies becoming adolescents. And it happened from a Facebook post that I shared from 4 years ago. And my Facebook friend Zari Shepard said, what a great topic for a podcast, hint, hint. So here we go. Today's topic is about our adolescent puppy, the changes that we're expecting. And the post that I shared, I actually just hunted it back down because I quoted, but I didn't say who I quoted. So I found it. It was on an AKC post from Brianne Long from August of 2016. So it was a couple days ago. And the post went like this. Great. I have an almost 8-month and 20-month-old. And so here's what I quoted. The most challenging time of raising a puppy is the adolescent period. Dogs become teenagers, in quotes, and seem to forget everything they have ever been taught. This period is individual to each dog, but it may begin when he's about 8 months old and continue until he's 2 years old. So already I'm going to change this a little because I think 2 is an
it's the lower range
of puppyhood for some dogs.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think 8 months is pretty good. That seems to be something that happens. So that's our topic for today. I can't wait to share some ideas with you.
Yeah.
I'm living this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, you are living this in triplicate.
Well, not quite. Honey Badger or Sheba is.
Well, she'll get there. She'll get there.
She'll get there. She's in full teething mode at the moment.
Oh,
right.
That's the worst.
And
that's worse than the dog. When they get to the adolescent, they blow you off. It's the pain. I'm always like, I just wait till those teeth just fall out of your head because it just hurts so bad.
And so she's in full, I don't want to grab it mode, but I'll pick it up and bring it back to you. So she don't want to play tug, but she wants to play fetch, which is fine. But the 2 older girls are in full, you're not the boss of me mode.
Yeah.
And, you better bring it if we're going to play. Crystal and I were talking this morning about some living arrangement and management techniques that, I don't see because, dude, I live with them every day, which she saw when she has shown up and she has watched us over the last couple of weeks and is like, did you notice this? And I'm like, oh. And then I've got Flair, who just turned 2 and is now this lovely dog that I'm like, oh my goodness, yay for lovely dog. And so, way right engrossed in the middle of it and really working with my adolescents to just have them think I'm cool. We're just like,
Sounds like every parent with their teenager, the teenagers, like they've got their headphones on. They don't want to, their iPhone,
They're just kind of like, unless you have a pork chop wrapped around your neck at this point, we don't want to talk to you.
What's really kind of funny is like every time I get a puppy and I go through that, like I'm like, oh, this is so hard. This is so hard. And then I totally forget it. And then I want another puppy. It's like all of a sudden, like all of that angst just like I forget it. And everybody's like, well, no, you said that was really hard. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all, but look at the cute puppy. And that's
you're like,
how it starts.
Puppy.
Yeah.
So I want to point something else out that I think some people don't comprehend because I just really let it sink in recently. And that's about teething. So puppies go from 28 to 42 teeth. And how long do they teeth? They start like around 4 months, do you think?
Usually between 4 months is when I really start noticing the ouchy part. And by what is it, 9 or 10 months, the teeth are fully set.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's say there's about 5 months that they're really teething. And I think they're fully set after a year, coming from my bitey stuff and talking to the dentist. So we'll say about 5 months for them to come through and kind of be teeth. And they go from 28 to 42. So
that's a lot of ouch.
Do you know that humans, how many we have?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We have 32 teeth, which is 12 more than we had as kids compared to 28 to 42. What's the math? 28, 38, 14. So 38.
A lot more teeth.
14. So we have 12 more. Yeah.
And we're not picking things up with our mouth.
Right.
We have hands and we go from 6 months to 33 months. So we're doing that over a 27-month span for fewer teeth, and they're doing it over 4 to 5 months for more teeth.
And they don't have hands.
They experience the whole world through their mouth.
And they can't freeze things.
So if we could just be kind, to our puppies when they're teething, and we're always like, oh, they just keep biting everything. Well, heck yeah.
Ouch.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, our puppies are changing so much, so fast, even faster than what we can even comprehend, what we go through. And then they go through adolescence. And she said 8 months to 2 years. And I want to argue the 2 years thing for some dogs.
I would agree.
And do you think breed and size, what have you found anecdotally with that?
Breed, the labs, I feel, take a little bit longer than the 2 years. I know.
And I think it depends on the dog. Too.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. But I'm just saying like generalizations if you have any.
Yeah.
Because I know some of you know some breeds more than others, and just curious.
Yeah. As far as puppies go, I have to say most of my experiences in Labradors. However, I have to say Brava, using Brava as an example, she's always been a worker ever since she was. I remember her going out to. It was one of the first AKC shows. It was up at the Big E in Massachusetts. So this big exposition center, right? And they had a huge confirmation trial at the same time. Well, this is I think she was like 8, 9, 10 months old or whatever. She goes in and she was entered in a bunch of novice and advanced classes. She won everything she entered and ended up with 2 high trials. So I'm like, oh my gosh, here's this puppy. She was just always a worker. However, if she did not get worked, I had a pet sitter who called her the terrorist.
I believe that.
So, which is probably still accurate when she doesn't work. It's probably very still accurate when she doesn't work. And I think, and it's one of these things where it never really hit me until I wasn't able to work her for a little while. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of understand this. But that's very different than like, say, a prize is very slow to mature. It's just interesting. It's just really, just even their cousins. I don't know.
And I think when you said terrorist, Sarah Strimming, I think, calls them teenage tyrants, but I kind of think I like teenage terrorist as well. It both flows so nicely.
Yes. Well, and my girls, because, some of this also depends on where you're getting your puppies, right?
Yep.
Because we're in the working dog world. So you expect the puppy to come with a lot of oomph, a lot of motor. And so they have to have that focus and impulse control put on them early so that they, when they hit the terror stage, they at least have somewhat of a concept of I'm not going to do really stupid stuff, just sort of stupid stuff. And the thing that I have seen is you typically sort of not even breed dependent, but about the age of 3 or 4, especially for my working dogs, it's when they start becoming that well-rounded working dog partner that can be fluent in all of the different situations where I may put them. And that's probably something everywhere from, experience of access to different types of training and different locations and all of those things. Plus, we're through all the fear periods and all of the juvenile delinquency stage to, and I talk about Nico quite a bit. I loved him as a puppy, and then he turned 1. And then and then I kind of liked him, right? Because I'm like, okay, you're an okay dog. And he turned, actually, it was when he turned about 3.5 to 4 years old that I'm like, I love him. He's a fabulous partner. And Dash, it actually took until he was 4. Most of that was my own making. But the Flare and Ember both, it was like almost as soon as they turned 2, it was like this little switch flipped. But then I'm also training for different things. Yeah. And so that has evolved. And, I'd like to think I'm getting to be a better trainer. So maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have that goes along with it. But in the midst of the teenage terrorist thing right now with the 2 9-month-old girls or 8-month-old girls. And I'm just like, please like me. And so,
well, you have 2 of them. So it's kind of like you feel that twice. You feel it twice.
Yeah.
I think that time when they turn into that like incredible adult, but the fluent adult, it sneaks up on you. It's like, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where did you come from? Like, you're pretty incredible. I'm kind of like there with Brava, where I'm just like you're just amazing. Like she just blows my mind. She's this brilliant dog. And she's always kind of been that way, but it's like I just feel like the pieces, she's just settling into it, and she just turned 5. So, I don't know if it's also I think that is the answer. Your teamwork evolves with the dog, and then all of a sudden things start to just kind of click together. They become mature. They become fluent. You've worked with them for a long enough time. You have that history with them that it just turns into that really incredible.
Kind of like the contract that you started negotiating with that puppy at 8 weeks old. Yeah. You've gone through so many revisions of this is how we're going to work together contract that by time they turn 4 or 5, they're like, yep, okay, this is the contract. This is how we're going to work. Yeah. And those teenage years are lots of negotiation going on in those teenage years. And you can really train in some bad stuff if you're not really careful.
Yep.
So
I think it goes from the idea of puppy love, because what you said, it was kind of make me laugh. I'm like, okay, there's the puppy love, even when it's a honey badger attacking you. Yes. It's just adorable and wonderful. Yeah. And then we go through a stage of teenage tolerance where we tolerate them because, that puppy was so adorable and we loved them. And then we have that canine partnership that arrives. And I like the way that Stacy said she felt like it was just there and it happened. And it's not this all of a sudden, but it really is this growth that happens because we've gone through that teenage tolerance together.
Correct.
Yeah. And we still love that puppy that was trapped inside that now we can see as our new canine partner. It's just these rites of passage. I'm even thinking about different cultures and humans and the rites of passage that we have. And there's a reason for it because there's so much happening inside of those little brains. It's just developing and exploring. And all of a sudden, I am not the best thing in the world. What? Yeah. And that's hard. It's hard.
When they get to that mature state, though, you're also like, oh, you're growing up too fast. It's too fast. Like how Brava can you be 5 years old? Like,
yes,
this went too fast.
Yeah.
And then you want to like rewind it a little bit, but it's just the way it is.
But I don't want to tolerate my teenager again. So let's rewind it to a point.
I don't really want to do that. Where I have to say she is still the loudest creature on the face of the planet. And we've been working on the ball with it. I've actually tried to embrace your speaking on command. So this is a little bit of a story, a little bit of a backstory. We're all together. I'm in Iowa. And we're doing kind of these little training things. And Crystal's like, well, what do you want to work on? And I'm like, I don't know. Right. So I'm like, well, how about being quiet? So I was kind of over here with Brava. I was playing with her Frisbee and I wouldn't throw it until she stopped barking. And I just actually posted a picture of Brava barking at her green ball on Facebook. She looks terrifying. And someone said, oh yeah, she's been hanging out with Melon. I mean, she looks like, rawr, like, and, so Crystal and Robin are both here like, well, put it on cue. And I'm like, I'm terrified to like put this on cue because I'm just terrified to encourage the sound that comes out of her mouth, which is not like any normal bark. It is a wail and it goes down my spine. And they're like, okay, now do this. Go ahead. So Crystal was teaching her to bark, which I think is probably the easiest thing in the world to teach that dog is to teach her to have a sound come out of her mouth. So I've been embracing this. I've been embracing it. I've had the ball. Now I may have added a little bit of a twist where, because I know she is a brilliantly brained dog, her brain is just, I put her up there with like chimpanzees and African gray parrots because she's just the smartest dog I've ever worked with. So when I throw the ball, I either say, so I'm using a little cue discrimination because I think she figured out speak. So it's either speak or it's quiet. So, but I'm doing more repetitions of quiet and fewer repetitions of speak.
Nice.
And I'm using, speak. She clatters her teeth because she's thinking, she's like, I have to do something. And then all of a sudden goes, "Rarf," right? And then I say, get it. And I throw the ball. Right. So of course, this is like her insane, like dopamine is like going out the wazoo, right? She's bringing it back. She's so excited. She's at the point now she's barking at my back door because she wants to go play the quiet game. True story. Okay. So she's like barking at me. Let's go play the quiet game. I'm like, oh, you're killing me. So then I'm like, okay, then I hold it and I go quiet. She's and then she's quiet for a minute. And then I say, get it. And I'm throwing it. And I'm trying to change the amount of time, the time span of the quiet. So I'm trying to vary that so that it's not a predictable duration of quiet before she gets the ball checked. So I have to tell you, I'm embracing that. But that is something that was from her teenage Tyrant that it was just like horrible. And it's still horrible. And she's just the most, actually, I'm going off on a tangent here. One of her siblings, they were trying to train the sibling for USAR, right? And she wouldn't bark. So they washed her. I'm like, what do you mean she wouldn't bark? She ended up actually as a bomb dog.
What do you mean they won't bark?
Like, what do you mean she won't bark? I said, I have all the bark. I've got all the bark. So really, I think I got all the bark in that litter, all that bark in that litter, that 10 puppies. It was just concentrated in this little tiny, she had to run to the litter. And she had the voice out of that dog. Anyway, I'm digressing. But
so I'm going to bring it back. Can I? Are you good?
Yes. Okay, sorry.
So with that though, you had that idea of deprivation because I wanted you to put the bark on cue. Yeah. Because I want it to be something that she can do and she has a job to do it. And I think a lot of times we want to deprive them of the things that they want to do that's rewarding because maybe it's not as rewarding to us or we're afraid that by allowing them to do that thing, that we're going to reinforce that thing. But it's something they already desire. And I look at it as, our school board made national news a couple times because they banned a bunch of books. And the number one thing that all the students went and did as soon as they banned those books, you guessed it.
Books.
Yes, they bought them, they read them, they went and got them. And so that's what we're going to do is anytime you add that deprivation in, and that's always something to really think about with our teenagers, because they're in that really weird stage of the world is now interesting to them and they want to go explore everything. And then they get really mouthy and they do all these things. And we actually do start to kind of deprive them of getting to go all the places. We deprive them of getting to try all the things. And I think that's something that I've really had to consider. And by giving them the outlets that they need, especially based on their breeds, it has helped me out so much because I'm giving them what they need in a way that's with me and is very constructive. And that's how I build that engagement and build that empowerment. And I think that's so, so, so important for our teenagers. Like that is my number one thing that I've focused on is building the engagement. And I can only do that through the things that they truly love to do, even when it's things that are sometimes scary for us, like the barking, like you just said.
Yeah.
So I always wonder about embracing those things and making it that they can only do that thing with me and it comes through me. And then all of a sudden, that's how I become so meaningful again in that little no longer puppy. It's all up my, I almost had to edit a word.
Up your sleeve.
Up your sleeve.
Up my ask me another word.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
because that's what puppies are. They're all over you. And then all of a sudden, with Radish, I kept saying, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. It's the best thing ever. She is just so engaged. She's just, I won't lose this. And I've lost it. And my dog now lives on a long line. And instead of asking her to go in the kennel, I just take the long line, we walk over, and then she goes right in. But if she didn't have that long line on, I would say right now in her teenage terrorist mind, she says, I'm not going to do it. And then I don't want that to be a discussion that she has a choice on.
You'd be chasing her around the farm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want to have that discussion right now because I know that if I just have my leash and I just pick it up, she goes right into her box or into her. Actually, it's a big outdoor run. I mean, woe is me with Robin's really nice setup here.
Oh, that's great.
Well,
it's so great here, by the way.
It's been really interesting for me to think about this. I'm going through some dog management stuff, right? Because the 2 9-month-olds are old enough that they can be crated or kenneled most of the day. And we get out to work. We maybe go for a walk and then they go back to be crated or kenneled. Well, because I don't have space for all of them at the moment, big shocker, I'm right now, Ducati hangs out with Sheba, and Sheba is very much becoming Ducati's favorite toy, and Ducati is becoming Sheba's favorite toy. Right. And so the difference in the 2 older girls is Ducati's like, yeah, meh, you're not very interesting. Whereas Bristol, who is in the kennel room, is like, Mom, you're the best thing on the planet. Because she doesn't see me all the time, whereas Ducati does.
Yeah.
And also it goes back into the whole thing that, and this was an observation that Crystal helped me make, was Bristol plays and more like I am comfortable playing. Here's the toy. Let's play tug. Let's do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't have to be super duper fun because just possessing the toy is fun enough. Whereas Ducati's like, no, you have to love me and tell me I'm wonderful and whisper sweet nothings into my ear and pet me. And, we get to play with the food and then we do some toys and we do more toys. And it's been interesting because if you're watching in the puppy class, she was the dog that would do everything for food. Everything.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
She's actually started spitting food out at me. Yeah, I'm done with that. Give me a toy.
What?
I know, right?
Check your genetics,
I think
please. Check your genetics.
Stacy's mind just melted a little.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of like the teenage issues and food, I think I've talked about this before. Prize's pathological food drive. Dealing with that, although I have to say I'm getting through it. Maybe not generalized in the van. She'll still scream for her food in the van, but I can get her quiet through meal prep and getting her into the crate. And, it really does come down to a little bit of management, a little bit of helping them learn that self-control. And it's kind of amazing, actually.
And some of it is ingenuity.
Yeah.
On how to think about things so that it's can be used as a reinforcer. Crystal's really good at thinking outside the box.
Yep.
On, oh, hey, we'll just use that as a reinforcer. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can do that?
Well, that's why all the distractions are possible reinforcers. That's what's so great about training. I was thinking too,
that just made my brain hurt a little bit. I'll be
I know.
honest.
I'm just sitting here reflecting on the fact that I just trained my dog, and I'm like, here's a tug, because I was training with Prize. And she's like, yeah, I like the tug. And I left the training session. I'm like, I should have brought her green soccer ball. Like, why didn't I bring her green soccer ball?
Well, even we talked about when the spring hits and the spring grass, I use that as a reinforcer. I mean, it's all those things that are distractions. Those are amazing reinforcers. And even today when Robin was training, Bristol is, I know Robin says that she's the easier dog to train. And I think that Bristol is really keeping her very honest, because when she's very much like you, Con, in the way that if it's not working in air quotes for her, she's going to go seek out her own reinforcement. And so she wants to keep going and go shopping, which is good, because when she goes shopping, she wants to still play with Robin. And so there's great reinforcement there that Robin is still her most fun attachment. Like Nico's, I'm his favorite attachment.
Yes.
Is that accessory pack? But I mean, when you wait until 90 seconds into the session before you introduce a toy for Bristol, she's going to tell you, I'm happy and I'm going to go get the toy and show you that this is what you should be using right now. Like, this is what my motivator is.
And very deliberate.
Yeah. And that's that impulse control and that teenage tyrant part, because it is so difficult for them right now because they are more impulsive, and all that impulse control we've built in, because I've seen it. I've seen you do all this impulse control in building and environmental. And now Bristol says, I'm going to go shopping. Thanks, Mom. Ha ha. And Ducati, when she goes shopping, she's the teenager that says, thanks for the credit card. See ya.
Yeah, I mean, and there's usually a hair flip involved with that one. So
yeah, and Bristol is at the, hey, let's go shopping. Oh, look what I bought for us, Mom.
Right. And then you have Paul flying around the garage, which is sort of like if you're new, Paul is the resident pet pigeon that adopted us.
Paul is an internet sensation.
And she lands on your shoulder when you're training. I'm in the middle of training in the last seminar with Honey Badger and just showing a demo. And then here comes Paul that lands on my shoulder, and Honey Badger looks at Paul and says, oh, hi, buddy. Okay, let's keep training because puppy. And like today, when Paul came in and made her presence known, we used that as a great training opportunity to try to get our teenage brain back when Ducati was like, oh, hi, Paul. Hello, Paul. There were different feelings attached.
Yes, it was more like,
but what Robin did so great, she didn't beg her dog to come back to her. Instead, she let her dog make the choice. And I think that is what our teenagers need the most. They need to make the choices. And we need to set up our environments so that they are choosing us and getting rewarded for that. That's why I have a shirt in my seminar that says, make good choices. That is what the entire day is all about, is building in the impulse control. But don't beg your dog, because you're doing them such a disservice. Instead, set your environment up in a way that they are choosing to work with you and choosing to be with you.
And so it was interesting because I love it when Crystal comes up, because my garage floor gets swept. And so my garage floor is very, very clean right now, because that's where we're doing lots of treat toss games. It's also nice and breezy when the weather is stupid hot. And Paul lives in there, so it's a natural built-in distraction. But we manage through leashes. We manage with how far we throw treats. We manage through
and where you throw the treats. That was huge.
Yeah, where you throw. Do not throw the treats closer to Paul. Throw them away from Paul.
Yes, and the distance you throw them, and all of that.
All of that sort of stuff. So you can manage that. And then on top of it, I really started incorporating to feel the dog push you to work, right? Crystal has this little game that she got from somewhere else, which she's going to tell us. It's called the shadow game. I don't know. I just know that you made it up and you do really spooky, sneaky and
it's Forrest Mickey's game.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned it from him at his seminar from Forrest Mickey, and he called it the shadow game. And I don't know where he learned it from, but I'll give him credit because that's who I learned it through. And it's just, what do you do? What does your dog do when you no longer do anything? And so if you stand still, what does your dog choose to do? That's really great information. And so especially our teenagers, because who knows what they're thinking? Who knows what they're finding reinforcing? And so if you stop what you're doing and stay still and they choose you, well, then you kind of just turn away, like you react to whatever they do. So if they push you a little, maybe you just kind of move a little bit. And so it's them pushing you to work, and it turns it from engagement to empowerment because they are the ones actively pushing you to do the thing. Now you can get this into frustration very quickly. So you have to know how much your dog can push. And it was kind of funny because I did checkmate as our little student to show, I was like, okay, I'm going to frustrate my dog. I'm doing this on purpose. You guys will see. Okay, he never really got frustrated. He just kept pushing me and pushing me. I was like, okay, I'm rewarding my dog.
So maybe Crystal, what we can do is when we train this afternoon, we can take here's a checked out dog, Ducati. Here's a dog who's just.
Oh, I got you. We can do some videos and share them.
Yeah, we'll share them out on the Facebook page. And
yeah, I love that idea.
Right. And so just, this is what it kind of looks like for the shadow game. And you can hear Crystal coaching me in the background on how to do this. And please forgive the really cool farm fashion, right? So
farm hair don't care. I love it.
Because I
beat you to it.
Farm fashion is a thing. Because we usually then just go out and
really
do chores.
It's dog training fashion.
It is. It doesn't matter as long as it's functional.
I want to see this video.
No, but the idea of the shadow game, it's just the idea that all of these things are giving your dog the opportunity. So we have to switch gears when they turn into a teenager, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, whether it's nose work, whether it's agility, whether it's bitey sports, search and rescue, you have to get back into being relevant to your dog. And if you don't have that connection, which you don't, because they're a teenager, and at some level, you've lost some of that puppy connection. And so now you have to find a new connection with this new creature. And we don't want to deprive them of things, but at the same time, we also don't want to give them chances to make poor choices. So we have to be more thoughtful about our training, especially when they're teenagers. And that training cannot be begging. I just can't stress that enough. Please don't beg your dog. Every time you're like, pup, come here, come do the thing with me. Oh, you're just ruining. And I think that's a harsh word, but you're setting your relationship back. So let the dog make the choices.
You're eroding the whole fact that you're basically tying a pork chop on your neck and saying, hey, no, I'm relevant, instead of being relevant and then reinforcing them when they're like, hey, you rock.
Yes. Every time my dog pushes me, I'm going to, and I always do the hashtag pay attention. That's like my silly thing. I have it on my hats. But I really do want you to pay your dog for their attention. That is the most important behavior that your dog can possibly have. And so instead, we're like, oh, my dog sat, big party, or my dog did a TFR. That's a great big party. But as a teenager, the biggest party I have is for when they're paying attention. So when they are paying attention to me, I'm paying them for their attention. So just my little tidbits there.
Wow. Love it.
Well, I think
hashtag pay attention.
Yes.
I'm sitting here going, can I rewind about 3 dogs?
Right? I know, right?
I got crap I want to do with these dogs when they're younger.
But especially in that teenage stage, that is my focus, is just pay attention. I mean, they're changing, so you have to pay attention to their changes. But the number one behavior is just that they're giving you attention.
And they want to be with you, because we were doing some training, and the first thing that we started looking at is long lines, because I realized I needed long lines for my dogs. And I haven't needed a long line in a while, but when you have 3 puppies under the age of a year, there's some issues with time management, obviously. And because there were 2 of them at the same age, I lost out on some of the puppy stage. And so, it's interesting where you get into those phases and people are like, well, your dog's still on a long line. Well, yeah, because I'd rather manage it that way than, having to manage it some other way.
That
And
could hurt your relationship. Yeah.
A long line is not a failure. A long line is not a failure. It's not. And it's so, I don't understand why so many people have so many big feelings about long lines, but they'll throw a shot collar on and there's no problem with that.
right.
It's just boggles my brain.
My only concern with a long line is that the dog's going to get away from me faster than I can grab the long line. Because when I'm talking about dogs that are missiles,
Yes.
I just worry that my line isn't long enough.
Yeah.
So,
And that's managing the environment too. I mean, it's having a teenager. Oof, you got to be thoughtful.
yeah, when my dogs are younger, because of where I live and because of the proximity of roads, we're in fenced in areas.
Right.
I don't want to risk that,
Yeah.
I will still drive around. And when I have the puppies in the car, it's like I'm places I don't know. I'm pulling up Google Maps and I'm scrolling around on Google Maps in relation to my little blue dot. Where are places I can go that will have fences
Yeah.
that I can take my dogs out and potentially let them run. And no, it's not too close to a road. No, it's not too close to, because I
Yes.
can still get out of baseball fields.
Have you looked at Sniff Spot?
I have not looked there yet because mainly with the puppies, I didn't want to take them into some unknown person's backyard.
So I have some, for
Yeah.
instance, there is no, I get that. I totally get that. But there's also places that maybe not quite that.
Right.
There's an area that's actually pretty local to me. It's about 15 minutes from my house. That it is on Sniff Spot, but she rents a 15-acre fully fenced in field.
Wow.
Oh, wow. There's nothing like that on Sniff Spot near me.
It's amazing. So it was like for like, I don't know, like $8 for an hour or $12 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So literally what I was doing was taking all three girls out there and I figure, all right, it's 15 acres fenced in. And every time they came up to me, hey, good dog, here's cookies. Right. And I have Labradors. They're like bottomless stomachs. They developed a recall like that,
Oh, yeah.
and it needs maintenance, but
Yeah.
it was really amazing because they were like, oh, it's valuable to come back to you.
And then
Mhm.
they get to go back and do whatever they were doing because you're in a fenced in area. Right.
Exactly. I didn't have to worry about the road because that's what I worry about. I worry because it goes back to trauma when we were children.
Yes.
So I had a when I was a child, I had my best dog. Oh gosh, she was my best friend. I had I was like one of those like kids that everybody bullied and everything. And it was like this Labrador, it was a Labrador retriever, was my best friend. And at 4 years old, she got hit by a car. So for me, it was traumatic, right?
Oh,
So for me, I carry this concern about this huge, which is a valid concern
oh, yeah.
about roads. So
Absolutely.
I'm so wary of letting my dogs off leash.
Yes.
And having that 15-acre field, it was just so freeing because I'm like, wow. Right.
We have a local place that's you can rent the different fields. And so you pay a yearly or how many ever months or a year thing. And it just got bought. Oh, it was so sad.
Yeah.
But you can do, when you pull in, you sign up as to what field you're going to. And so it has a pond with a dock. It has hiking area. And then it has 2 fields that are completely, if you're signed up for that field, no one else can come in that field. So it's like the
Nice.
reactive dog field or, training field or whatever. They have a full agility setup. I mean, it's just an amazing space. I wish that everyone that had some space could do something like that. So there's a business model for people out there. There are lots of us dog lovers that if you have some extra acres, you should do this and set this up because as we travel, we would love to go to your place and, give you money, especially with our teenage tyrants.
I have seen on Sniff Spot, though, some places like this. So I think you just have to kind of look for it.
Yeah, as you're traveling.
Right.
Yeah, I always look for ball fields, churches, schools. That's where I go when I'm traveling.
And oh my gosh, I am super duper careful about picking up after my dog when I go. I would prefer to them not know I was there.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But I think one of the things that we underestimate, especially, with any dogs and the teenage tyrants right now that I have, is the manipulation of your environment to get them to learn what you want them to learn. Yeah. And we're working on a lot of square sits right now. And so Crystal, in her infinite imagination and creativity, set up my rubber mats on steps so that the dogs can't cock a hip. And it's also been very interesting for me to explore the whole concept of where my body is located for body pressure on each one of the dogs. And Sheba doesn't care because I still am like the best thing on the planet. We're still in that phase. Bristol really doesn't care.
Yellow.
Yeah, it's because she's yellow.
She's yellow. Yellow girls love their mummies.
Flair is like, okay, great. Yeah, mom, what you want? But she's 2.
Powder has been like that ever since she was a little tiny thing. She's like, you are amazing. I am and I have to, this is all teenage tyrant. She has her own phases of teenage tyrant, but they actually don't have anything to do with me. Like what I see is the hormonal interplay of growing up and her related to other dogs. But I have always been the center of her universe. And I think it's because she's yellow. Although Prize is kind of like, you're the center of my universe. And Brava's like, you're the center of my universe, but I don't want you to know it. But if you leave, I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah. A lot of my dogs are like, nope, you're Uber. Feed me and take me places because that's what matters.
I was just curious. Did you know that yellow roses, do you know what they symbolize?
I knew that one.
So yellow roses symbolize friendship and joy.
That's what
it's those feelings that are associated with friendship, such as warmth, delight, gladness, caring, and affection.
That's why yellow labs are so happy.
Yeah.
I agree. And they all have, and a lot of them have little angel wings. So right behind their shoulders.
Yes, they do.
They have, some of them have lighter colored fur. That's their angel wings. Black labs don't have that.
Okay, so it's in protection world. I always say that that's where you're going to put the pressure with the stick when you're using when you're doing a drive and IGP. I'm like, see how with Checkmate, he's got this spot right here. That's right where you should put the pressure with the stick. That's what our sport's about, though. It's a soft stick. It's not a hard thing, and it's
a clacker stick, right?
No. The clatter stick is a hard thing. You don't want to hit him with that.
Oh, that's a hard thing. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is a soft stick. Anyway,
I don't know anything about that.
But he loves it, so it's all good. So there was something else I wanted to share. And when it talks about teenagers, I think we can really say that they're having a difficult time in their world. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to figure stuff out. They have different feelings. They have different motivations. The Concordia connection, I know that, Stacy, you bring up kind of horse references. So I'm going to bring up a horse reference that my friend shared. So it's my relation would be Quinn's. Quinn is my dog. His litter mate is owned by Mo in Florida. And she shared this recently. And I was like, that is amazing. I have to share it. So here it is. It's from the Concordia connection. And it goes like this. Thinking of your horse as behaving badly disposes you to think of punishment. Thinking of your horse as struggling to handle something difficult encourages you to help him through his distress. Yeah. And I think that really sums up, especially our teenagers. Because I think it's so easy to think, just a couple of weeks ago, you didn't do this. You weren't running away from me. And so we think about it as this dog is being disobedient and this dog is bad and all these things. But really, the dog just got triggered by Paul the pigeon that we didn't see. And this is all very difficult for them. And all of a sudden, they have all these competing motivators and everything in the world has now become reinforcing to them. And now we are just one part of that reinforcement. So that's where the management with the leash and the management of our environment, it all plays in. And I'm going to share one more person who I think is a genius, and that's Jo Rosie. So she's one of my people that I really look up to as a trainer, and we get to interview her soon.
I love reading her posts. They are so insightful.
Oh, she's with the School of Canine Science, and she is just, she's all that and a bag of chips. yellow chips.
Maybe even two bags of
what I
chips.
loved that she, yeah. And what I loved that she said, she made a post not too long ago, and she talked about how she goes to a patio with her dogs. And this is just part of her social environmental, this is just what they do. And it's just great social environment. And so she goes to the patio as puppies and they just lay next to her. Like that's the expectation. And so there's not a lot of treats. There's not a lot of rewards. It's just simply, this is what we do when we're here. Then as they're teenagers, they don't do that anymore. They just don't get to go to the patio because it's too hard for them. It's too much. And then when they become adults, they get to go back to the patio again. And I think it's so important hearing that from another great trainer and understanding that we are all in this together when it comes to our teenagers. We have to modify the environment and we have to modify our expectations because they are different dogs during that time. So think about that in our training.
We have to manage our environment and maybe understand that taking your teenage tyrant to the softball game to watch the kids play softball may not be the best training opportunity for your dog. And I think we get kind of wrapped up into the whole, but I want to make sure they're appropriately socialized. And, all of these socialization is more about environmental socialization than going out and playing with other dogs.
Yes.
I ended up having a conversation with a handler the other day because they're like, well, I take my dog to the dog park.
Oh, ouch. Yeah.
Right. And he gets to play with all the other dogs. And so we kind of looked at him and said, well, all the other dogs are much more reinforcing than you. And he's getting all of that reinforcement. And I'll be perfectly honest, my dogs don't have dog friends other than the dogs that are in my pack. I don't have puppy play dates. They don't go to dog parks. I saw the visceral reaction from Ray. I remember an example of at about 6 months old, she was chased by a black dog with long black hair.
Yeah.
In all fairness, the handler that we're talking about,
right,
has a special dog with a special case.
Agreed. So totally.
So I wanted to bring that up in case that person is listening too.
Right.
Because what they're doing now is they're using the dog park as a reinforcement. So if the dog, and this is where we had to be creative with our training, because they came from an environment where there were no human interactions, the only thing the dog finds joy in is playing with other dogs. And so now using the dog park as when you work through me, you get to go into the dog park. So using it again, reinforcements are everywhere. And so, but they all have to come through us. So they're making the choice to get to do the thing. So sorry, I didn't.
No,
I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because it's a special dog and a special handler.
And it is. And it's a creative way to use reinforcement to get the dog to do what the handler wants it to do. So it's amazing, but it was a different view on how to use a dog park other than, just in general.
Just in general. I think our comments about it were just more in general.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I just thought, in case he's listening, because he's doing such a good job.
He is. I mean, oh my God, the growth in them. But even dog parks, especially for puppies or adolescents, just know. Because you know what? Yeah. They learn they get bullied at a dog park because a lot of the dogs, and let's be honest, a lot of the owners don't know how to appropriately manage play.
Yeah.
And, I have to manage it in my house because you have Ducati and Sheba who, I can tell the second I was like, oh, yep, somebody needs a nap because, boy, are we getting out of control and can't manage appropriate play. And, poor little Ray got bullied. Wasn't at a dog park, but it was by a different dog. 5 years later, I'm at a seminar and she sees a dog walk by that looks exactly like the dog who was chasing her around. I had Cujo come out from underneath my chair
I'm not surprised.
Right.
Wow.
And she was she's 55 pounds of nothing but teeth, and I want to kill you. And I was just like, oh my goodness. That's not actually what I said.
When I was, I'm going to mention Joey here, because when I first got him, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Right. And there I was, I worked full time in corporate, and I'm a single person. I have a puppy. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I thought I was doing the right thing. And although, gosh, I would never do this again. I put him into full-time daycare when I was at work. Well, I had to stop that because he, first of all, once he was after puppy age, he completely disengaged with me because he was just involved with other dogs, to your guys' points. But also, to his dying day, he was reactive to huskies. So something happened because he got taken out of that situation pretty early on, because I realized that was a really bad idea. And I'm like, I'm never going to do that again. But whatever happened while he was there and not under my supervision, it carried out. It was like this running thing. It's like, we'd see a Malamute, and I'm like, Joey, that's not a husky. And he's like, are you sure that's not a husky? And I'm like, yeah, I'm positive that's not a husky. Or we see Norwegian, is that a husky? That's not a husky, Joey. But he was just like horribly, horribly reactive to huskies.
Interesting.
And
they remember.
yeah, Yukon got snarked at by a Doberman at the mud run. And now if he sees a Doberman, he is at the end of the leash running away. He's just like, nope, nope, nope. Don't want to get attacked. Nope, nope, nope. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And those things stick.
Yeah. They remember. So especially at that age, that teenage age, they're so impressionable.
Oh, you reminded me of a story. Checkmate. Holy cow. 8 months old. And I wanted to work with kids because I just don't ever have little kids around. And a friend of mine was so nice to bring her nieces and nephew. And we didn't communicate well. And so when she rolled in, she opened the minivan door. And I was in my training session in the big open field. And the kids came out running and screaming and squealing. And I should have been clear in my communication. And it has taken me 3 years to get Checkmate to not want to eat children. Yeah. It has taken so much work. I've had to do so much because all he saw was little kids running out, screaming and squealing, and they all become prey. And that's what he wants to do with children now. Not now. We worked really hard. So even just at the seminar this last weekend, a 10-year-old would have been somebody that he still would have questioned. And here he was snuggling and cuddling. So we worked really hard, but that is something that should have never happened. Right. It's better, I think, to manage and put them in a bubble during that teenage time and not let them rehearse those big feelings they have, because they are just going to get even bigger and even stronger.
Because socialization is about protecting the dog from bad experiences. It's not about giving the dog lots of experiences that they're going to be afraid of later on in their life.
Yes. And that's same with fear periods.
Which I think is what happens, right? They're like, oh, they've got to meet all these people, meet all these dogs. And then the dog turns into a reactive, fearful mess. And they're like, what? I socialize the dog. I'm like,
And this definitely applies to all of our detection dogs, our SAR dogs, our nose work dogs. I mean, all of this is sound advice. Everything should come through us. We should now be in more control of their lives because they are very exploratory, and we don't want to let them have the chance to have those bad experiences. Now, can we fix those bad experiences? Well, yeah, but I mean, listen to our stories. Yukon's scared of the Doberman, and there's, the
Joey with the
husky. Yeah.
He got better with certain huskies, but it was like every time I had my eyes peeled, every time I went out with my dog, I was eyes peeled. Is there a husky? Is there a husky? I'd go to a trial and I'm looking at the run order. Is there a husky? Nope. Cool. No huskies today. Right. And I have nothing against the breed, but it made my life harder.
Well, and it also goes back to, it's easier to train the behaviors that you want than untrain something that inadvertently happened. And so, that's one of the things that I'm looking at my little adolescence world right now and Crystal is very good at this when we're training together. Don't let them rehearse bad behavior. Okay. Because they have, if they rehearse it, then it becomes something I have to untrain. And, you can't wrap them in bubble wrap. You can't keep them in a crate all the time. You have to go out and let them experience some of the world.
But you can control it.
Correct.
Yes,
Manage
exactly.
your environment.
Exactly.
And, even right now,
advocate for your dog.
Amen.
And I mean that in terms of like, when Powder was a puppy, and let me tell you, she was a very ouchy puppy, because let me tell you, those teeth were like razors. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. And I remember being at a trial and someone had their young child there and they're like, well, can my child pet your puppy? And I said, no. And you know what? She was offended. And I was like, no, I know this puppy. And that's a young child. And this puppy could be like, not to mention your child could be like bloodied, but I don't need my puppy to have a bad experience. And so advocate for your dog in that way, protect their experience.
Correct. And I think
your job is your job.
Yeah. And, the information, and as they get older, even I've got the 8-month, 9-month-olds now, and I would expect in about 5 months, what I have to manage is going to be significantly less in some instances and might be bigger in others. So it's this whole kind of free floating, but wow, don't throw them into situations where all of a sudden they're flooded. They're overwhelmed.
I was just thinking, don't flood your dog. Don't flood your dog. Yeah.
Because they can have, because then I have to, and I'll be honest, that's one of the things that as I've grown in being a dog trainer, it's become, and especially when you have those one event learner dogs that you're like, oh, wow. I have to be really careful what I train here because I could spend the next 6 months untraining this one thing. And time is money.
In my world, foraging. Oh my gosh. You can have the most beautiful heel. And as soon as you let foraging happen, it is so hard to untrain. You spend so much time. So when the dog, because most of our herding dogs, especially, they want to be ahead of us and we want them to be kind of back at our leg. And so that's one of those things.
Okay. So you're saying foraging, not foraging.
Yeah. So foraging is a type of problem that you have in the heel position where the dog goes too far forward.
Yes.
Through my pantry, I have that problem.
I do too.
That problem too. Yeah. No, but once you let them creep forward, it just becomes so reinforcing for them because they want to go faster and they want to push you harder because they're herding dogs. Trying to fix that, it is so hard. So just don't let bad things happen. That's the important thing.
Don't let bad things happen.
You guys, we have to wrap this up.
I think that's a great place to stop. Don't let bad things happen.
We have some final thoughts. We have final thoughts. We always have final thoughts.
We do. Besides don't let.
Well, our final thoughts are usually Crystal goes off with this like amazing, insightful. Like we just sit there going, "Whoa, okay."
Your turn this time. What is your takeaway about your teenage tyrants? You have to go first. It's not doing it this time.
Who, me?
Both of you.
I was teenage terrorists. The teenage tyrants. I've got the ones that are coming out of it.
You've survived. We need a shirt. I survived teenage tyrants.
I survived the teenage tyrants, right? I think it's just really kind of, be empathetic to your dog and the fact that they are going through their hormones and they are going through this growth phase. And you need to think about your expectations, and management is your friend.
Mine
I like it.
Are actually going to be somewhat along the same lines of use the opportunity of them checking out to develop your skills on encouraging engagement and being more creative. And we'll post videos of us doing the shadow game in full farm fashion. And, how can you increase your skills and keep them engaged with you? Plus, manage your environment and help build the dog that you want to build later, and know that they're filing stuff away. You just might not see it for 2 years.
So I listen to podcasts and get lots of information from lots of different places. And I think it was Tom Davis. I hope that I'm thinking of the right person I heard it from. but he's talking about reactive dogs. And here I'm going to say it's for a teenage dog. You are not in the dog business. You are in the people business. Every dog around you is your responsibility. And that was advice that he gave a client. And when I think about our teenage dogs, we are responsible for our dog. We are responsible for everyone else's dog. We are responsible for everyone else. We are responsible for their experiences. We really have to kind of take that on our shoulders for our teenagers. We don't want them to rehearse bad behaviors. We want them to have good experiences. And we want to try to help them survive teenagehood, just like we are trying to survive their teenagehood. Because when we get out through the other end, what a beautiful canine partner we have. And the relationship we have built is just, there's nothing else in this world that's as wonderful as that. That was my takeaway.
That's always amazing.
Oh, shush.
And that's fabulous.
You always do the amazing stuff.
These goofy dogs, man.
So if you want more awesome to see probably some teenage tyrants, because mine will still be teenage tyrants by then, come to Distraction Camp. Actually, Sheba will be in the middle of teenage tyrancy. Come to Distraction Camp in August here at the farm. Both Crystal and Stacy are going to be here. So you get all three of us in one location, and hopefully Paul's still around. Yeah, hopefully Paul's still here.
Oh, Paul.
Sorry.
Oh,
So
she's a good girl.
Yes. So check out the website for the freebies and some of the other information that we've been pushing out. Plus, check the Facebook page for videos on shadowing. Thanks,
And
everybody.
Instagram.
Ooh, Instagram. We'll make them short enough that they can appear on Instagram. So
Yeah, that's
thanks.
Robin's magic. I still don't have Instagram figured out. I try.
Let's just check a box.
It's hard.
We'll get there. So
Okay.
thanks, everybody.
Okay.
And thanks for listening.
Canine Detection Collaborative.
We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9 detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.